What is going on, guys? This is Miasin, and welcome to the OCG metagame breakdown number 1. Something that I already kind of predicted, well, not really that I predicted that, but I already knew that Tearlaments was now the best deck in the OCG, which I think you can already tell with this picture, so it's not even like it was a huge spoiler or anything. And I had to wait until like today to make this video because we only got the breakdown from Road of the King like yesterday. And before that, all we were really getting were just like, not really breakdowns, just like incomplete reports and like deck lists and everything. And some information hinting us that the deck was back to being good. But now we have way more data and also 75 top performing decks from 13 tournaments. Even though this is only like a week or something, but it's still something that is, you know, something to be taken into consideration. So before we proceed into the explanation of everything that's going on in this freaking crazy-ass OCG land, friendly reminder to smash both the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys. Now let's get right into it. Alright, so number 1 best deck is Tearlaments, but not by a super long shot. I mean, 21.3%. Let's just go back a few like weeks back. It was like at like 56%, and then this was like 65 or something. Yeah, 64.7. It's ridiculous. So now the deck got obviously a huge nerf. Basically went from tier 0 to tier 1, and the tier 1 decks are usually not really, I mean, they're still really good when they're dominating by like, you know, 6-7%, but they are stoppable, so at least there's that. And the deck without Kid Kalos is not super consistent anymore. So you might look at your hand and be like, bruv, I can't really play this one out. This is basically going to be win a pass or something, and it's very easy to adapt yourself to a very linear just end board every single time, because you can't really search your missing piece every single time. So it really depends on what you mail, and the deck is now way more RNG oriented than it was before, even though it's still really good because, you know, you still have all the other fusion monsters and the Shizu cards are still there, and people are maxing them out now. So as you can see, 12 of them are playing Ishizu Tearlaments like pure. Well, I mean, like, rather full Ishizu lineup, full Tearlaments lineup, etc. And then 4 of them are also playing Kashtira cards, even though Fenrir and Unicorn are both at 1. So I don't really know if this is just worth playing anymore, but we never know. Fenrir is still a really good card. Anyway, second deck is Spright Tri-Brigade. Really good deck, of course. And it was the best deck not too long ago. Was in the number 1 spot, as you can see from the breakdown number 0. If I can actually freaking get it. Oh my god, took like literally 10 years. 28%, a huge fall from heaven, because it is now worse than the number 1 best deck, which is 21.3%. So ironically, the spy chart is actually a little more diversified than the other one, because the best deck is worse than the previous best deck, and we have way more pizza slices, which is fun for everyone, right? I don't know about that, but it's not really relevant because the sample size is not super huge. I mean, it's only 75. Well, it's still not bad, but when you look at like previous breakdowns, it's always like in the hundreds. So yeah, 105, and then this was like, okay, 68. Worst example I could have brought up, but whatever. Anyways, third best deck, Runic, of course, no surprise. We've seen Runic kind of be good, never really insane or unfair, but always good in, you know, every single one of those small formats, small unestablished formats. That's how I'm gonna call them now, because every single time we see like an article from the Road of the King now, it's always like people just trying to like experiment and understand the new format with the new ban list, because it always takes like a few weeks or a few months before people eventually break the format completely, discover what is the best deck with the best ratios, the best cards to play, etc., and also the best counters, because right now it's really up in the air. And the proof is that Sky Striker is now the 4th best deck in the OCG right now, and I think this is something that is going to be changing very soon. Even though I am personally a really big fan of Sky Striker, I do believe that it does not line up to beat Tearlaments whatsoever, because whatever beats Tearlaments also beats Sky Striker, unfortunately, in the form of bestial monsters, because you just banish the Ray and the Rose and the Grave, and you're not going to be floating much. So that is kind of unfortunate, but whatever. Anyways, Labyrinth, this is obviously it's a good deck, but I'm going to cover this a little more in detail after. Anyways, Emancipator, so we always see that because they have cards that we don't have, like Block Dragon, etc. Bestial Dragon Link, they have Magnamut at 1 now, so that is a downgrade compared to us. And then Exorcister, they have 2 Shifter, but the rest is the same. And of course, the deck does lose to Maxi a bit because... well, no, actually, no, that's not true, because you can play a lot of trap cards and just, you know, make it so that your opponent plays into your Vadis and then special summon on your opponent's turn. But if your opponent has like multiple maxis, then you're fucked because they're gonna draw like 4 cards. Well, actually, yeah, maybe like 3 cards. Yeah, because Vadis summons 2 monsters at the same time. I'm so bad at maths. Anyways, Magician. Yeah, alright. Spright Gishki, okay. Again, huge fall from Heaven because it was so much better before. Dinosaur, Flunderies. Branded Bestial Despia, another good deck, but lost 2 Branded Fusions. Well, rather lost 1 because it was already semi-limited over there. And then Kotaku Mathmech, Danger, Dark World. Not really the best, huh? And there's also Maxi that you have to worry about. Drone Logbird destroys this deck completely. The Abyss Dweller's Game. Kashtira Scareclaw. Both of these decks just aren't really worth playing anymore, I want to say. Medalchi, Orchist, Punk Bestiole, Subterror, Sword Soul, Traptrix, and Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk. We always see the exact same random rogue decks in like the other section. But anyways, Tearlaments, so Zeki went 6-1-1 and won a 34-player tournament. Congratulations, must be not. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so it's actually really jokes. That means that he must have made a comeback because Swiss was what, like 3-1-1, so 5 rounds of Swiss. And then top 8, top 4, and then the finals. So yeah, he was 3-1-1, which means that he probably went like 8th place or something, or 7th place, and then won 3 in a row, which is not too bad. And he played this version of the Tearlaments deck. So the most interesting thing that we can see here is, well, first of all, no Shadow Fusion in the side deck, which is a really nice side deck card for going second. So I don't really know why there's really no Shadow Fusion, but we can see the Hail Shadow Wallow. I think that's the name of the card. No, Hollow. Jesus, not Wallow. So this is the Fire Shadow Monster, pretty much related to the Infernoid lore. Whenever this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can mill cards from your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of different attributes on both players' field, if I recall correctly. And going second, you can obviously go like send Squamata, send this, and then mill more cards, potentially mill your Guido and Kelbeck, so that you can mail an extra 5 cards, mill your Tears, mill your Sulik, which I want to say is now a new staple 3 of. This card is just insane because it really does substitute the Kit Kalos, well, the lack of Kit Kalos to search your monsters. So very nice cards. And same thing with Scream being a 3 of, absolutely mandatory. You get more mails, which you are absolutely desperate for. And you can also search your trap cards, which again substitutes the lack of Kit Kalos, if that makes any sense. And obviously, the Tearlaments monsters, you're always trying to max them out at 3 because Alphenis is only at 2, Shaylin is at 1, which is nothing, and then Reinoheart at 1, but it can be argued that some people were already playing 1 Reinoheart or 2 Reinohearts. And what else? I mean, the Shizu cards, every single one of them is being maxed out, no exception, so triple Mudora, triple Kaldo, 1 Agido, 1 Kelbeck, and then triple Kashtira Scareclaw. I don't really understand why it makes sense because even if you're not really able to summon it on your opponent's turn, when you send it to the graveyard, you can still mill an extra, what, like 2 cards or something? So it's not like insane, but I mean, it is what it is, and it's still a Tearlaments monster, so you can still, I was gonna say make Kid Kalos with it. Hilarious. But you can go Polymerization, fuse away King of the Swamp and like a tier, even including Tearlaments Kashtira, and then make the Lulu Karos and at least play a little bit from there. So it's not like the end of the world. And you can still banish Tearlaments cards from the grave in order to summon this card. So it's at least always somewhat live to a certain extent. I believe you can banish Tearlaments cards. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, no crime in the main deck anymore and 1 in the side deck, which again, you can only search with the Scream. So it's just hilarious to see. And 3 Bestials in the side deck, but not in the main deck. They're not really generic, so you don't really want to main deck them. And they do conflict with the Kashtira monsters. And because of the fact that Unicorn is at 1, it just introduces more bricks that you don't really want. So Fenrir is now the only Kashtira monster that people are playing in their deck. And again, Fairy Tail Snow, we can actually see it in every single deck list now. So this, and then, hold on, was it the Metagame Breakdown number 0? No, I think it was the CCT something. So yeah, Fairy Tail Snow here. And then, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, okay, whatever. You get the point. Fairy Tail Snow is going to gain in popularity, which, again, is hilarious because in the TCG, not a single soul was not playing Fairy Tail Snow. The card was insane. But OCG players are just built different, I guess. And again, King of the Swamp in every single deck list because the Grapha Fusion is nice, nah, I'm saying. Prime Planet, Parezos, and Perlarino are both limited, so less consistency cards. Not a single triple tactic card is being played. I don't know, man. I like these cards. I like both the talents and the tasking. Both of them are at least worth citing, but no, nowhere to be found. So very interesting. Dark Ruler? I don't know. Are you trying to hit like Spright with this? Maybe. I mean, what other deck loses to Dark Ruler? Tri-Brigade. Revolt doesn't lose to Dark Ruler, unfortunately, so you need like other cards. And then Runic obviously doesn't lose to Dark Ruler, Sky Striker either, Labyrinth either, so like all these decks are safe from Dark Ruler. Adamant Superior loses a little bit to Dark Ruler, not that much, because if they can make the Dweller, and then you Dweller on standby or draw phase, then that's a nice Dweller, the nice Dark Ruler you got there. You still cannot, you know, OTK me, or you can't really make a big board because none of your graveyard effects are going to be resolving, unfortunately. And yeah, this is especially like a fusion deck now, so double Winda, which, I don't know, man, I think is a little, like, crazy. It's just so much. Why would you need two? Maybe it's because, like, you want to shuffle back a Winda and then summon another Winda and just keep looping again and again and again. So I guess I can understand to a certain extent, but whatever. And yeah, I mean, only one Kaleido Heart as well, so imagine getting hit by Diablosis, the Mind Hacker, when you're playing this deck. Like, you just make... You go first, you go for, like, I don't know, Unicorn or something, which you can still search, I guess, to a certain extent, and then you make, like, Diablosis, and then your opponent loses, like, a bunch of cards from the extra deck, and that's just game, so... I don't know, like, if you lose the crucial one-ofs, it's just, like, the end of the world for you, but whatever. Elf, I also don't think is really needed anymore. Reviving back what? Like, there's no Diviner. You're not even playing like Baron with the Herald of Orange Light. And reviving back the Meru really isn't that good, but whatever. I guess it is what it is. Because I'm saying that because there's no Garura. So it's really not like you're linking off your monsters for a monster that can revive back a Meru is like that good. It basically does nothing. And then the Heartbeats, I guess I understand it's more for its graveyard effect than it's for like actual on-field effect. Because, you know, shuffling back a spell and trap while not being able to search the card really is pretty bad. But milling this card and then getting back your traps, especially when you're going first, allows you to make more interruptions, if anything. So it's a great card for going first, while still being decent for going second. It's just that it might have less relevance because you're going to be siding out maybe 2 trap cards going second more often than not. So I don't know. This deck definitely looks like it can brick though. And then Super Poly for the mirror match because they're like Mud Dragon of the Swamp, Dragos Tapelia, in case they have like the Grapha Fusion and Winda. So this deck is very, very susceptible to losing to Super Poly. And imagine if they had Garura. So if we have the exact same thing running around in the TCG, better believe that this deck is going to suck because Super Poly is a 3 and we have Garura. So it's like the end of the world for Tearlaments. Anyways, now for Tri-Brigade. So I'm not going to explain this too much in detail. You can actually read, but basically this guy, which his name like, which is like really original, Namzan. He managed to come up with a really spicy OTK under the pressure of time. So, you know, huge shoutouts to him. He managed to win through, like, a Grapha Fusion that was held by Forbidden Droplet and a Huffness with not that many monsters on the field, so that's really cool. And that was his deck list. So, double Carrot is the only thing... Sorry, double Red is the only thing that really shocks me here. The rest is relatively standard. I mean, only 2 Karas is also something that I'm not super a fan of, but it's the second time I see it, so I guess I'm just gonna... You know, give all these players the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they understand the deck way more than I do. So I'm not going to be talking too much crap. And yeah, the extra deck is also pretty nice. The side deck, whatever, Joel and Logbird, this is now something that I'm used to seeing. Now, Runic is, again, another really interesting deck. And a really cool side deck card here is Cyframe Epsilon. It is kind of like Gamma, but for trap cards. So if your opponent goes Eradicate or Epidemic Virus for spells, you already know that you can go for Epsilon, negate that, and you still have all your spell cards to play with. So it's not too bad. Maybe there might be a better timing to use Eradicator Epidemic Virus now. You just wait until your opponent summons the Hugin, and then you go Eradicator, and that's it. That's all. You just win the game on the spot. Well, not really, because the cards on the field would still, you know, survive. So if your opponent hard draws, like the field spell or something, they can still play. But, I mean, every card in the hand is gonna die. And also, oh no, actually, they can protect cards on the field, right? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if the hook... It's a weird, complicated situation, but yeah, this deck looks extremely cancer, like 9 Floodgates, I think. No, 6, 7, I can't count. Well, you know what? Dimension Fisher, there we go. And a lot of draw cards, of course. A lot of monsters, for sure, huh? 2 Shifter and 2 Sphere Mode. Oh my god, wow. This is so freaking BS, man. Imagine playing against this deck. Hell nah. How the hell are you summoning these monsters? I'm trying to see. There is Phantasme, and then obviously you can go... yeah, if you resolve Epsilon, then you go for Axios Synchro, And then you go for Cheng Ying, and yeah, that's about it. Donner for hire, okay. Oh, that's actually really clever, because you destroy yourself, and then you no longer have a monster clogging up your zone. This card is going to see a lot of play moving forward. It's a really nice card. And then DD Dynamite is hilarious, emergency provision, like bruv. Just, this is the kind of card that we can actually expect to see in time. This is just so dumb, though. Imperial Iron Wall, which is actually, yeah, it's actually really good again. Wait, hold on, what the? It actually screws you over. I was gonna say it's good against the deck, so why the hell would you cite it? Me no comprendo. But anyways, Sky Striker, the final deck that we're going to be covering, I guess. So obviously the deck got a little bit of a popularity boost because people just like Sky Striker in general. And with Kagari going from 1 to 2 and Engage already being a 2, the deck is now more appealing. And they also have 2 multi-rolls, which is something that we don't have. So yeah, Sky Striker, pretty nice deck, but unfortunately, like I said, they do lose to the Bestial Monsters. I think this was explained here. So you can't really expect to do super well against that deck anymore. And no Imperm is definitely very interesting. So what, 1 Nibiru, triple Ash, 1 Ghost Ogre, 1 Ghost Bell, triple Maxi, triple Veiler. How many hand traps is that? 4, 5, 6, plus 6, so 12. Imperm could have made this like 15 or something. Oh, finally Upstart Goblin. Oh, wow. We have like not seen this card in a while, so very nice to see that it's back on track. And yeah, if someone could explain to me why Veiler is played over Imperm, I would really appreciate that. And apart from that, whatever. I mean, this is relatively standard. No, there can only be 1. Interesting. Pretty much no going first side deck cards. So this looks way more like a going second build that really is only trying to go second, except maybe sometimes when you want to side in D-Bearer going first. But this really doesn't look like it does much going first at all. It really just goes like Shizuku, search a card, sit on a bunch of hand traps with a Widow Anchor, and that's it, that's all. So if that's not enough, you just get OTK'd and you die. And dying is not good. I keep repeating that, oh my god. But anyways, in conclusion, forget about Spright, Tri-Brigade. Tearlaments is already way better, which is absolutely hilarious. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.